Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at all of the features and deliverables which had work ending in July. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you guys so much for the support. It is truly appreciated, and if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So each month I like to put together a video that takes a look at all of the work that is kicking off each month and also finishing each month, just to keep us all more informed as to what work is going on in the background. Now, before we get to that, just because a feature on the progress tracker has work beginning or completing in a particular month does not necessarily mean it'll be released that quarter, the next quarter, or even in that year, as there could still be more work required from other teams like the downstream teams, audio, visual effects, and so on, or even priorities can shift and it can get pushed back until needed. It is, however, a great guide to see what could potentially come to the PU when, but at the very least, it shows what work is being done at what time of the year. So with that said, better late than never, let us take a look at all of the features that have work completing last month in July. So first off, let us begin with a pretty big one. It is called Dynamic Population and had 44 weeks work from the Systemic Services and Tools team and the Mission Features team, and it says all milestones that need to be passed in order to implement dynamic populations in various locations around the burst. So a pretty significant task. Whether they have achieved this yet, or whether there is more work to be done, we will have to wait and see, but personally, this is quite a big one for me to see, as for many of you as well, I'm sure. And it was mentioned a long while ago that the PU, or the Persistent Universe, will be made up of around 90% NPCs, to 10% of the population being real players. So having a strong, robust population of NPCs was always going to be important, and although it is very few and far between that we see anywhere near what they are aiming for in the Persistent Universe with AI at this time, and once CIG implement the full subsumption system, where NPCs will have their day-night cycles, their wants, their traits, their preferences and skills and so on, coming and going from location to location, doing everything that the player can, seeing a full population moving around, especially at landing zones, will be quite a sight to see, I feel. So I am very happy to see we are getting to the end of this particular set of work, and although I'm sure there is plenty more still to do, it looks like the bulk is almost getting there. Now next up we have a deliverable that was initially released in Alpha 3.15, but appears to be continuing in its development. It is called Infiltrate and Defend Missions. So as mentioned, this is what we saw in 3.15 by way of new missions for underground facilities, utilizing for the first time those spawn lockers, so allowing NPCs to come and go as needed, which really did provide quite a lot of great gameplay and loot for 3.15, and still does. But I'm assuming that the work continued on as they do still plan to expand on the various missions we have. I think it was mentioned that the 890 jump mission was supposed to benefit from this update, and I know that they are currently working to expand the underground facility types, creating new facilities, which has actually been underway for quite a long while now, kicking off its 95 weeks work back in March last year, which should finish in January next year. So they are well underway with this, but still a long way to go. They're also creating building interiors to be found around various landing zones, not to mention all of those other points of interest that we have got with 3.17.2, providing many new locations for infiltration or defending missions. So certainly more to be done with these types of missions. And in a recent RSI newsletter, we did see an image of a Ninetales gang messing with what looked like it could be a distillery of some fashion. And if I were to put 2 and 2 together and get 42, it could potentially be one of these new underground facility types that could be setting up for infiltrate or defend missions. But as I say, that idea was practically pulled out of my ass, so let us just wait and see. But either way, I really do enjoy what they brought with 3.15, and I look forward to seeing what other missions of this type we can get. So next up we have a few player improvements. The first one is called Lean Over Cover, and this is implementing the tech and animations needed to allow characters and NPCs to push into cover objects, as well as look, lean and shoot over them. So as mentioned in a previous video, this kind of tech I'm always quite skeptical about, as it can often be a very messy mechanic to get right, but personally, after getting into so many firefights around these various new points of interest in 3.17.2, like the outposts, the derelicts, having a proper cover system will be a great benefit, and should really help to keep a low profile in and around the many various environments, plus providing that much needed protection when engaging. Also, having the ability to fire from behind cover, so blind fire as such, should put some cover fire down, especially against players if you know their general direction. So I'm actually really looking forward to trying this out, especially around Ghost Hollow and the Derelict Outposts, and hopefully it is a lot better than we have seen in other games. But it had 14 weeks work from the Actor Tech team that should have completed early in July, so hopefully we won't be waiting too long until we're able to see this in the verse. Now the next player-facing deliverable is called Mantle Tier 2, which is to improve the current mantling feature, including mantling up to a surface without a wall to push up against, jumping over a gap to reach a mantle, and an overall improved detection radius. Now this only had 10 weeks work from the Actor feature team and will hopefully improve the mechanic a lot, but I do know that CIG has mentioned a while ago that they want to hook this into the Actor status as well, so depending on how fatigued or injured you are, this will determine how capable you are at mantling, sometimes doing it a bit slower, or even not at all if you are exhausted or severely injured. Whether that is coming with the Mantle Tier 2 or later on is yet to be seen, but the work here completed early in July, so I don't think we'll be waiting too long to find out. The next feature is called Personal Inventory, which we all know and love, I'm sure. Some may actually loathe, but this came with Alpha 3.15 and is still a work in progress, and personally I feel it was a well-needed system, but it is still missing many basic functions, of which many are in the works, like the Move All and proximity detection ability to pick up items close by or already attached. Now beyond this, player inventory will expand to physical inventory, and everything being physical, interactable items that will be stored and retrieved in the exact location that you put it in, rather than how it is now with a kind of accumulated storage UI box, meaning that instead of standing around anywhere in a landing zone or anywhere on board your ship and having access to everything you have put there, it will require you to physically go to the actual cupboard or location that you put that item in to retrieve it again. So I'm very intrigued to see how much further CIG will improve and expand on the personal inventory system, as its 77 weeks work from 5 different teams came to a close finally earlier in July. And now the final player-facing feature is the Player Reflection deliverable, which says that this feature will assure the player will see a believable representation of their character when looking into a mirror or other reflective surfaces in first-person view. Now a reflection would be nice so I can check out my newly acquired Ninetales armor or fashionable Stanton outfit, but in all seriousness, I assume this will be needed first and foremost for Squadron as you are walking around the various locations there, seeing a reflection of yourself. Not a super necessary mechanic or feature, but definitely something to help with immersion. Now this had 14 weeks work from the Actor Tech team that completed earlier in July. So next up we have a few mines, the first one being the Proximity Mine, which as you can imagine is an explosive mine that detonates when someone enters its defined trigger zone, so its proximity. This will be a lot of fun in the PU, especially when things are persisting, and when we can set waymarkers. I can imagine looting a derelict or similar point of interest, but not being able to gather everything. You could maybe place a mine to protect your location and return to it once you have unloaded your gear. Now there are endless use cases for mines, and the 49 weeks work on the Proximity Mine from 3 teams should have just finished its work mid-July. Now the next mine is the Laser Trip Mine, which had 51 weeks work, and this we already have in the Persistent universe in some fashion, but this will likely be implementing the mine to be usable by players, allowing us to deploy them where we want. Now the work on this finished very early in July, and will be another great option to help with the ongoing fun of mauling our fellow citizens unknowingly. Also, I will point out that as much as having a mine laid in Stanton around a comm array you may get into trouble for it exploding and killing someone, in Pyro, I think mines will be pretty fair game because there might not be as many comm arrays around to pick up on the crime. So we could probably lay them to our heart's content. Now the final mine, which is probably my favourite, it is the Space Mine. And this is giving the ability, it says, for certain ships to release different types of space mines in a coordinated fashion in an attempt to trap, damage or capture enemies or set up defensive perimeters. I do love the wording that CIG use in this description, releasing mines in a coordinated fashion. They clearly haven't seen my capabilities, but in any case, just simply shitting out all of the mines in one clump by accident will be a lot of fun, and regardless, this will be applicable to the Nautilus, which offhand is the only mine-laying ship that I can think of right now. I don't think we have any more in the works or planned that we have heard of. So great to see that the ability to do this will be coming along, and I suppose it is a prerequisite for maybe bringing in the Nautilus itself. And the space mine had 8 weeks work that ended very early in July. So the second to last new deliverable is the Volt Pulse Energy Handgun, which was a new addition since the latest roadmap update. This is the energy pistol from Volt, and looks to be a part of the whole new range of weaponry from the yet-to-be-seen in-game manufacturer. Now this has 1 week's work from the weapon concept team, so only its concepting, and that began and ended in July. So the final deliverable finishing in July was an unannounced vehicle, which was also mentioned in my work starting video, as this only had 3 weeks work from the audio and visual effects team. And as stated in that video, it's unusual to have an unannounced vehicle that only requires work from downstream teams, which should mean it's already gone through the concepting and building and is now at the final stage of the ship pipeline. So this could be a straight to flyable or drivable vehicle when it does come. My guess would be likely the new variant, which would make sense in terms of audio and visual effects, I suppose, maybe. So as usual, do let me know what your thoughts are below for what this could be. And with it having its work from the downstream teams, I don't think we're waiting too long to see it. So to finish with, there is just a couple of Squadron 42 specific features that ended in July, and these are chapters 7 and 21. Now chapter 7 had 82 weeks work from 5 different teams, while chapter 21 had 60 weeks work from 3 teams, each coming to an end mid-July. So trudging along with the Squadron 42 chapters, and as it does show on the progress tracker, all the remaining chapters that had work extended now all finish at the end of September, but that certainly does not say that they won't be extended again, as that is completely possible. So that is all the work that finished in July according to the progress tracker. A few decent features come into completion, and hopefully we won't be waiting too long till we see these in the burst. For me though, the dynamic population is that one feature that I am extremely excited to see come around, making the locations and the environments feel more alive, creating that living, breathing universe that is one of CIG's priorities. So getting those AI living in their day-night cycles, coming and going from location to location, generating missions for players dynamically, that would be quite phenomenal to see. Of course, once the AI stops striking and standing on the chairs. But with that said, if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. Also, come and hang out over at twitch.tv/supermacbrother. You are all more than welcome. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, big thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.